Hi ladies, it's really nice to be back with you again today. We're going to discuss a topic that I think is extremely important, and it is when your spouse hurts you, how to respond to that. Note that I'm saying respond, not react, because react is out of emotion, but respond is we think and we let the emotion subside, and then we decide how to respond to that. So the first way, that is actually one of the right ways, is to respond with a righteous attitude, to be honest and loving, to acknowledge what happened and to speak about that in an honest way. So you can do something like say to your husband, babe, you know what, I really respect and honor you, and that's why I can tell you how I feel. When this happened, it made me feel rejected, made me feel you didn't care, something like that. You come honestly and you speak in a way where you don't attack and you did this and then you come in a way where you say, hear my heart. This is how it felt when this happened, and this is not how I know you. How come this happened? Or, how can we resolve this? The second way that we can do this is by being dishonest. Just pretending I didn't hurt. I just suppress the emotion, I suppress the feeling, I just carry on, but I'm not nice to you, I'm not kind to you, I don't do things that I know you would like. In fact, I will actually do things I know you hate to try and show you that I'm upset, but I'm not going to talk about it. I just pretend it didn't happen. You see, when we do that, it brings a lot of destruction into a relationship. That is not the right way. The third one is I reject my spouse because you hurt and frustrated me. Now, if we look at Hebrews 13 verse 5, it says, God said, I will never, never, never leave you, nor forsake you, nor leave you without help or support. No, never, says the Lord. Now that is a promise that God made to us, each one of us that choose to believe that. And for me, what was really interesting to me was that it basically said, leave is a physical thing, where forsake is a emotional thing. Now God promises He will never leave us physically nor forsake us emotionally. Isn't that beautiful? Now we are here to represent Jesus. If you are a Christian, means a little Christ. You follow in His ways, His example. Now basically it means I will not forsake you emotionally, and I'm not going to reject you physically. I'm not going to turn my back on you. I have to act in a different way. Then if we look at the fourth one, very bad things happen when you turn your heart away from your spouse. When you start to decide, I'm not going to love you anymore. I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm just going to withhold myself in a big way. What is happening is, if he's not meeting your needs and you reject it, you get angry, you start calling him names, and you bring the fury out. And that is so damaging to a relationship and a marriage. Because you might feel, I'm trying to do this, and you're not changing, and you don't even want to try. See, that frustration comes out of fear. And what we need to do is not fear, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but we need to trust. Trust God. Pray that God will draw His heart to want to change, to want to work on His area of the relationship where He needs change. The biggest thing for somebody to change is when you change. It's amazing what happens when we change the things and leave the rest to God. Now, the other thing that I want to say is, all of us will go through an area of suffering, and this is with point 4. Sometimes, instead of them attacking, we go and we suffer for that person. Now, what do I mean with that? I don't mean abuse. Here, what I'm saying, I don't want you to be abused. Nobody justifies abuse in any area, emotionally or physically. All right? God does not want His bride, who is you, doesn't want you to be hurt and to be attacked and to be hurt emotionally and physically abused in no area. Okay? But suffering means discomfort. In other words, I'm prepared to suffer for you. That's a very big thing, is I will take suffering upon myself in your place. Now, if we look at number 5, which is choice. Choice is the righteous attitude and the right behavior, even if you don't. Now, this reminds me of Jesus. You know, when we were still in our sin, He already loved us and He chose us. And He laid down His life, which means it cost Him something. It cost Him to suffer on my behalf. when I was not deserving of his love or his affection or anything he did for me. So he redeemed me. It shows of a greater love, a deeper love, to pay the price that we could not pay. Now I'm going to propose that if you come in the same spirit as the spirit that is given to you, if your husband is mean to you and you come with meanness back, that means absolutely nothing, because you're acting in the same way. It's the same spirit. But if you come in the opposite spirit, that is how we overcome. If they come with anger, we come with quiet and gentleness. If they come with hurt, we come with love. If you have to come in the opposite spirit. It might not feel like it makes sense, but that is exactly how we overcome, is to come in a different spirit. Jesus didn't come as a king and ruler. He came as a servant. It was the opposite spirit. And that drew people unto him. He was relatable. See, we have to understand that. So you must understand that I'm going to pay a price for you that you cannot pay. Maybe you don't want to pay it right now. Maybe you don't want to change. For your husband, I'm meaning now. But you are prepared to do it for him until he gets to the point that he can do it. I'm willing to pay it because of my love for you. To demonstrate that love, I'm going to partner with God. This is the important thing. Remember, even if he acts wrong, but you act right with God, you win, because God is on your side. You are doing the right things right. And that's why it's so important to not act in the same spirit, because God cannot bless you then. He cannot help you if you're also operating in the wrong spirit. Be right with God. Do it his way. Pray. Remember, I always say, gossip upwards. Give it to God. And tell on your husband. I tell on Jack all the time, Lord, did you see this? God, you need to speak to your son. He's not acting in the right way. And you know what? God can change his heart. And that's how permanent change comes. I can speak about these topics in so much more detail, but this is all the time I have. I hope this blessed you.